Hello, QW, Artisan, Glimmith, etc., etc. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this area, range, and I'm going to bejewel this window if I can today. It's been a little while since I was in this area particularly. I remember not having a good time last time. And I don't know, I think I understand a little more why I didn't have a good time, so I can at least prepare for that. So, like, here we go. Here's a 4. We can do this one. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Maximum 10. All regions have an area of at most 10. Got 49 here. Each region contains exactly one every symbol. Let's get going. Jump right. At most 10. So I know with 5 regions we can make, we basically have to make a bunch of 10s and then a 9. That's what it's got to be. I don't think we can do any other arrangement. I think we have to have 4 10s and 1 9. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to math that out differently. Okay. I can't see a world where we do a crossover because it would require way too much stuff. So I think we have to do it this way. Slightly change this one here. Don't have 2 greens. So is there any reason to avoid this scenario? Like this sort of thing? Like this right here gives me... Yeah, this is going to be tricky because now what do I do in this spot? Adding this piece here at least gives me that. Oh, okay, I can't fill that in because it'll be too much. 6. Oh. Yeah, it's how do I get to that spot? That's what it is. I figured if I just jumped in like that, I would end up with a problem. There's just no way I'm going to solve the puzzle by doing that. Just go hog wild, my friend. So I'm going to have to think a little bit better about this. I know these all have to come out like so. That means this has to come out here. So this is set. Don't see any reason to do something like that. That just feels dumb. I guess I can think about that lower corner. 7, 8, 9, 10. I could reach this lower corner with red, but it would trap green in here. I think the same goes to 5, 6, 7, 8. So the only thing that can reach is green. So that is set. Now if green doesn't take this space, it would have to take both of these, and then no one could reach this one, right? Because yeah, red would have to take all these. It would be bad. So green does have to take that spot. So is there a reason why green wouldn't take that one? I don't know. So let's do that. We gotta actually think a little bit more of the puzzle, which is good. I was worried like, what if you just throw yourself at it? Is there any world in which red takes this spot? No, because then blue has to go on a fantastic journey. We don't want that to happen. So red's got to come out. We have to have 10s and 9s, right? Like we can't have 7. This piece isn't going to take that, so I think that has to be purple. If there's anybody else, purple's got to do a loop. So that's got to be purple. Any reason why purple doesn't just do this? Like that's the thing I'm trying to get at. Is there a reason why I wouldn't do this? Rather than just a guess. Like let me guess this and see what happens. I don't want to be doing that with my life. Is there any way this isn't yellow up here? Because in order for a non-yellow color to get there, I just think it's going to work. Same with this one not being yellow. I think that's got to be yellow. Again, the reason, if this isn't yellow, what's it going to be? If it's blue, purple's cut off. If it's purple, yellow's cut off. So we got to make that yellow. I think we have to also make this. In fact, we can't cut any of these, or at least we can't have these two be anything but yellow. Yeah, how would this not be yellow? If this was purple, like this way obviously cuts it off, but if we go around the back, we're going to way overload. So I think we have to make both of those minimum yellow. But is there a world in which I do this? Well, let me think about what's going to touch over here now. So we've got 6 things here. We've got 1s, that's 7. This would be 8. So that space. I'm thinking, or that would be 8. So the yellow can reach this spot. 3, 4, 5. So this here would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Purple can also reach that corner. So I have two options for the corner. I wonder if purple goes to the corner. So what I'm thinking here with this is that if purple goes to the corner in this particular way, then we have, oh, that's 11. That's not going to work. So no. Because if purple goes to the corner, right, like yellow has to take whatever is not the purple, whatever happens. So purple takes the corner here. Yeah, we end up, all of these have to be yellow. So I think that means that yellow does have to take the corner, which means this corner now is an issue. 6, 7. So blue can reach this corner. I think we do the same. I think we do the same thing here. I think we do the same thing here. Because if we have the blue reach the corner this way, purple has to take the rest of these, which is 9 is possible. We do have to have a 9er. Actually, that's just it. So there you go. Neat. This one actually worked out really well for me. I like that. This one actually felt like it's in the 4 vicinity. So in case you haven't watched every single video of mine religiously, why would you do that? I've had a lot of trouble with the difficulty markers in this game, and a lot of my complaining about this game, because I have complained, believe you me, about this game, a lot of my complaining probably would go away if difficulty markers weren't in here, because difficulty markers are the way of developers signaling to the player what they think you should expect and feel. So, you know, if the developer says a puzzle's easy, you're expecting low effort and low reward. If they say it's hard, you're expecting high effort and high reward. That's what you're expecting out of it. And so if this difficulty is off ever, then your expectations versus your reality are different, and it almost always will ruin the puzzle for you. So a lot of 4s are either way too easy, so I don't feel good about it because I expected some effort and I didn't put any in. So I don't get the reward I was expecting, because how good I feel about a puzzle is directly related to the effort I put into it. It's not necessarily one-to-one, but it is related to it. So yeah, the fact that this felt like a 4 to me meant I actually really like this puzzle. I think that's the short version of this. This was a really good one. Let's down another 4. Let's see if we get lucky here. Between 4 and 7. Anything else? No. Well, that's there. That's there. Got a few gimmies. Between 4 and 7. How many? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have to make 9 regions because we got 9 of each symbol. We have 57. 9 goes into that. Hold on. 54 divided by 9 is 6. So we have an average of 6.5. So on the higher side, but I wonder, because another issue I've had with the range rule is that sometimes it feels like this rule is lying to you. Because like if I was playing a game where the only rule was range, then fine. But because we have rules like minimum, maximum, range, and precision, I'm the type of person that I want you to tell me the rule that is the closest to reality. And so if I see range 4 to 7 and all of them are 6s and 7s, I'm going to say that this rule is lying to me. So I better see at least 1, 4, or 5 in here. I don't know. Let's start with this guy right down here. We got to bring the circle out, and we can't go through this circle. It's got to touch one of these squares and then this triangle, right? Is there a universe where blue doesn't touch that triangle? Is there a universe where it doesn't? Is the universe we're in? So universe where it does. Only way to get down there is, yeah, there's no way. So we got to touch that one with blue. And then it won't touch that circle because we've already touched it. And so now this square here can't be touched by anybody else. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is a complete region. We can't do anything else with it. So now over here, we got to bring this one out. And then this region here as well has got to come out. But I don't know which direction they go quite yet. Because I could bring this one down or I could bring it up. This red region. What triangle can we touch? That's probably an easier question. We can't touch that one. We can't reach it. Oh, we could reach it in 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we touch double square. We can't do that. This triangle is double circle and square. It's too far away. And then yeah, these triangles require either going through this triangle or this square. So yes, we have to touch that triangle. So we could leave this here as a 5 because it fits in the range. We don't know. Well, okay, at least I know that this here is a different color. I do know that. Which means that the triangle that this touches has to be one of these two, because it's not going to reach this or that. It has to go through a square to get to them. So it's got to go this way. Now, it could take this or it could take that. I really don't know offhand. This square, this square right here that I'm hovering over, this could belong to green. I don't know. But this one can't, because it requires going through a second circle from here. So this one has to be a different color. And that's all I know. Okay. This square, yeah, it still could be green. Is this square not green? Because this square can't be any of the colors that have except green or a new one. If I made this a new color, like purple, I would be able to fill it in with what I have here. So that doesn't end things for me. Yeah, I can do this. I don't really know. Well, between these two triangles, right? One of them's attached to this square. The other one has to be attached to this square. Yellow, actually. Because these two triangles can't touch any other squares without... I mean, this, but it cuts that off. So, like, it could be this way or not, but this is going to have to move in. So now it's just a question of filling in these spaces. Because it could be here or we could do it this way. I'm not sure. Eventually it'll be about... Oh, hold on. What is the circle I'm going to touch with this one? I should think about that. These are the only two I can reach. And this one requires going through a square. So this is taken. So now this is the triangle because we have a max of 7. So that is done, which means this 5's done. Good. So the range isn't lying to me. It's not, haha, they're all 7s. But I said range to trick you into thinking there were things that were less than 7. So that yellow's got to take all of those, which means that it has to take that circle. Well, now this square, I could take those 3 and then 1 there, but I don't think it's going to do that. This space here, this is now a tricky space because this space down here has to touch that circle. It's the one that's going to reach. And it's going to touch these two pieces. And it's got, yep, these are the 7 that's going to touch. That can't go above 7. What do we do now? Okay, this piece here has got to come out. So I know I'm going to have 9 regions, right? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to have 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to have 1 more region here I haven't started. That's fine. This region down here... This region I think this has to be orange. I was thinking about this. This could potentially be a new color, but if this is a new color, let's pretend. I'll show you it doesn't work. We have to bring it up. We couldn't touch the square. It just come out and it would actually become the red region, right? Because it's not orange. Can't touch any of these, so it would actually come out this the only square. And this would be fine. This would be 7. But the trouble is now this orange has to take these 3, and so nobody takes that square. So this has to also be orange. Which means we can't take that, but we can take more with the orange. I was thinking about range, like, yeah, I've got my 4, but it could go up to 7. Actually, this can only go up to 6 as far as it goes. Who's going to touch this circle? Potentially the red. This is going to be purple instead of orange in case, yeah, the orange and red are together. I think I mentioned another one, like, depending on the lighting, here, I'm going to back out. The puzzles that you play, the look of it seems to be dependent on the lighting. Like, it's actually... It's not generating a new picture for me to look at. It's actually like zooming into the puzzle and whatever the lighting is above it is what we see. So since this one is shadowed, all the colors are a little bit muted. And so the colors that are close together are harder to distinguish. Like these blues are a little bit paler, but the red and the orange are just too close together. I can distinguish them, but it's not like really obvious. And I imagine if you're watching and you don't have the greatest color vision, you can't tell what's going on. So this square now, like I still can do this. Let me think about it. I've got 2 more circles. So this has to take one of those circles. It could take this one. If I... See, the thing is, if I took this, then I have no way to fill all this in, right? If I took this circle here, I have no way to fill all this space in. Because I've got forward, I can only fill 3 more spaces up here, and I can fill 5 more spaces up here. But there are 9 spaces there. That's not enough. So I actually have to take this circle, which means I have to take these with the green. And I'm pretty sure that's correct. If it isn't correct, we'll find out. So this is going to be here. We got to take that triangle. That's going to be our 7. So now this has to take all of those spaces, and we're done. That's a pretty good one. That also felt kind of like a 4 to me. Like, I went a little slower on it, but to me, 4, it's right in the middle of 1 and 7. So it suggests to me it can't be an easy puzzle, but it also can't be hard. So if I ever feel either side of that, I get frustrated. And this rule didn't feel like a lie, although I don't know why it didn't just say maximum 7. I'm not sure where the range came in. There was at no point where I was ever tempted to make a smaller than 4. So why was range the... Right? Like, I'm now analyzing it like, why do you have this rule and not the rule that says maximum 7? Would that change things? I don't know. Let's see. We got a 5er over here. Let's see. Now I expect to have some challenge with 5s. Minimum 2. Great. So no solo cells. Geminis, Arrow deltas. Great. So we have 4s that have different shapes. This is going to be interesting when we're here with these 4s. I think this is where we start. Or these 3s, but I'm going to start with these 4s for just a second. This 4 here is going to escape, but so is this one. There's just no getting around it, which means this one's got to escape further, but there's a 5 here. So right away, we're being given an L shape, and this has to bend, but it can't be an L shape. It can't go to the other side of its own piece. So I think right away, we're given 2 shapes here. We're given our L shape, make that a little lighter. And then we're given our S shape right there. This also has to be an S shape, which is going to be like that. So minimum of 2 means that it's because these shapes are complete. We can't have solos in here. We have to just have a domino. Means that's got to be a domino piece. This is done. Now down here we might have a similar deal. Yeah, there's only 2 types of triomino. Elbow or straightaway. If this is an elbow piece, it cuts off the other one. So it has to be the straight. And that means this is the elbow piece. This must also be the elbow piece. I actually just kind of see how these 2 5s go. I kind of wish I would work it out better. Can I work it out better? I don't know. Okay, these 2 5s can't connect. And here's the reason why. There's only 2 ways to connect it, and they both have to be an N shape. This is one way, but now the N shape doesn't go here because it would have to touch that spot. It's not going to work. The other way is like this, but it breaks the minimum rule. So these 2 5s don't connect to each other. So the question is, do they touch these? If we suppose they don't, for just a second, now we don't have enough space. So we must have the 5s touch either side. The best way to do that is here. So that's how I work that out with some logic. I think that's how you're supposed to, but I just kind of saw the V shapes working out. So I did it that way. This can't move down because it will create an orphan cell now. It's got to go that way. These 4s have to be T-shapes. That's just the way to put 2 of these in the same spot. And then we just have a regular old piece there. Yeah, neat. Neat. Felt kind of like a 4 to me, but it was a nice puzzle. I do like it. Just making sure I'm not missing any before I go for the big ones. There's actually still 6 puzzles left. I should just make sure I'm not doing yeah, like anticlimax. If I forget this guy to the end, it's an easy one. Range 2 to 4. And mingle shape. Okay, so we know that these dominoes have to move away from each other. These could do that. Nope, because it leaves. We can't have this. This has to be at least 3, and it can't be a 3 because it'll touch those. So this right here has got to be a 4. It's got to be that piece right there. So this here is going to put a 4 there. This has to be... This can't be a 3, and it can't be a 4 because it'll touch those. It's got to be a domino. This guy has to move down this way, which means we have to have a 4. And they don't have to be straight lines. That's how it goes. So we can do a 4 here. We can't do that. We have to do a 2 and a 3. Oh, is that right? Oh, it's mingle shape, not size separation. Those are easy to get mixed up. This is it right there. Yeah, this is another. This goes under my list of minor complaints that probably aren't fixable. They're just how things are gonna roll out if you make a game like this. And that is mingle. If you have a bunch of rules, it's inevitable that some of the rules will be similar to each other, and it's really easy to get them mixed up. Mingle shape and size separation are very similar. I like both of those rules, but I thought for a second, hold on, a 3 is next to a 3. That's okay because they're different shapes. Mingle shape lets you do that. Okay, I got 5 left. I see these 3. Here, let me do the cheating thing. Ah, there's one hidden there. There's got to be another one hidden somewhere. Ah, there's one hidden back here. And it's a 3, so we'll take care of it. Okay, that's the match rule. So this is the other thing is, I feel kind of bad about this because I know that every time I see the match rule, I start to complain vociferously about it. They can't all be the worst thing ever, but the trouble is once you suck, once you do something terrible once, I lose trust. Now every time I see this, I just brace myself for shit. I just brace myself for a terrible puzzle. Range between 3 and 6 match. So now I just got to find a shape. I just have to think of a shape. This, God damn it. All right, well, we can do this because we got 30. Oh, fucking hell. So we know it's not a 4, that's all, but it can be a 5, a 6, or a 3. That's irritating. It's not an elbow, I don't think. No, it can't be an elbow. Can't be an elbow because how would we do this? Just this piece right here. Elbow here would have to be like that, which can't be placed here, or like this, which can't be placed. Can it be a straightaway piece? It would have to be like this, which is going to cause a problem up there. Okay, we can rule that out. I'm just going to say right now, this isn't the worst thing because it is solvable. This just isn't a very fun thing to do. Because I'm just systematically going through, like, what are all the pieces I can make? I know it's not a tetromino because 4 doesn't go evenly into 30. But again, like, until they added the quality of life thing here, is where you can just hold control to see the number, doing this would be a bigger pain in the ass because you have to individually count these cells. So it's a 5 or a 6. What pentomino would it be if it was a pentomino? Well, if it was a sextomino, what would we put in here? What would we put there? We can't also touch that piece, so we'd have to fill it in here. We can only touch one of these two. If we touched this one, we'd be in trouble. We would not be able to do it, so we'd have to touch this one. Which means the only option is that, and we can't do it. I think we have to make a pentomino. Is it an L shape? It looks like L shape is going to do it. See? That's just not... So what I ended up with was a puzzle where the entire amount of work was before I put a single cell on the board. A single cell on the board. It was all done before I started any of it. I looked and I had to figure out a shape, and I worked out what the shapes couldn't be. But once I worked out the shape, it was instantaneous. There was no puzzle. Like, that's just not fun. I don't get it. I can't imagine a universe where people make this game and spend as much love and care as they do. Because it's obvious the designers put a lot of attention on it. They didn't fart this game out in 2 seconds to make money. I know that they're not those types of people. But it meant that at no point in playtesting did anyone go, hey guys, there's this whole series of puzzles that just are really terrible. And the developers did not, either no one said it, or the developers got that content and said, well, that's just those people don't like them, but they're still good. Like, no, they're not. This isn't... I'm going to calm down. They aren't... I don't know these people. I'll never meet them. It doesn't matter. Oh my god. Okay. How about this 3? Range 3 to 4. Mingle shape. There's quite the restriction on this, then. What's it mean? I think it means that these two 4s are the same piece, because if they are not the same piece, then you can't fit a 2 in there. The range 3 to 4. And we can't do it like this. Like, these have to be the same piece. So that's all I know, which means that this piece here... This could be a 3, though. It could be a 3, because this could just be a straightaway 3. Hold on, what's this piece? I should start here. Smart people start here. So if I start with this piece here, it can't be a 4 because it'll touch the 3, and then you can't have 3 and 4 on the same square. That's illegal. So it's got to be a 3, and it has to be the elbow shape, which means that this, to make the mingle shape work, has to be a straightaway. Which means this cannot be an elbow shape, because regardless of what it does, it will move down, and it will touch, and mingle shape is in effect. So this has to be a straightaway. Which means this piece has to be at least 3, but if it's only 3, it's going to either be one of these two. Actually, can't be an elbow, doesn't fit, but it's going to be the straightaway. So it's got to be an L shape. Can't be a straight line 4 shape because that is a mingle shape violation. So now in here we have 7 pieces, so we need to have a 3 and a 4. The option is an elbow here or an elbow there. And we either have an S piece here or an S piece there. So this is part of an S. So now this could be a 3 and a 3 and it does, I don't know. This here has to be part of a 4 because if it's a 3, it's just that. So we have an L shape, which means this can't be an L shape. So it's got to be a 3. It's got to be an elbow piece, which means that this piece can't be an elbow. It must be an L shape. This is an elbow piece, which means this can't be an elbow. That's got to be an S piece. And then this is your elbow. And that's the puzzle. That's actually a really good one. It is on the easier side because it is a 3. It felt like it was in the range of a 3. So I really enjoyed the puzzle because my expectations going in were met by the reality that I faced. See, like if we just removed the difficulty markers and did something else to arrange the puzzles, I don't go in with that expectation. So if the puzzle's hard, I think it's supposed to be, and I enjoy it. If the puzzle's easy, I think it's supposed to be. But because of the experiences I'm having with this, I'm going, it's supposed to be hard, but it's easy. Or it's supposed to be easy, but it's hard. All right. Because like I look at this and say, this is supposed to be hard. Not so hard that I get frustrated and really struggle, but it is supposed to be hard. Mingle shape 3s and 4s. Well, there's 3s in here. These are, or no, hold on. This is 7. I can count to 7. Dummy. All right. 7, 7. Are they all 7s? They're all 7s. That's actually good. It means I have to think about it. That means, okay, that means over here we have to have an elbow and an L, but I'm not sure which one. Huh. Here's going to be either an elbow and a T shape, or it's going to be a T shape and a straight line. Oh, which means this is always a T shape. That's always T. This is elbow or S shape. This is elbow or L shape. I'm just going to fill in the 3 that always go together. I don't know. This always has to go in. Oh, hold on. How do I make this work? Oh, I think the only way to make this one work, right? This piece, this has to be part of a 3 or 4. If it's part of a 3, it's either a straight line, leaves an orphan cell, or an elbow, which is going to touch an elbow here or here. One of these two has to just be a plain elbow, right? That's a problem. That's a problem. So this piece cannot be a 3. If it's a 4, it can't be an S piece or a T piece. It's got to be an I piece. There we go. So I think this is our break in here. So we need to have a nice S piece and an elbow piece here. Let me change my elbows this time around to red, just so I can make a distinction between the elbow and the S piece. So we can't have an elbow. Oh, we have a similar issue here. This piece, well, let's start here. We can't have an elbow here. We can't have a straight line because it causes orphan cells. This has to be a 4, and it's got to be an S piece. It's the only thing that's going to work. So this is an elbow right there, which means this is the T piece. We have a straight line here. This has to be the elbow because otherwise this they can't touch. This has to just be an L piece right there. How do I do this one? I don't know. We can't have an S piece here. Hey, whatever's in this spot, right? This spot can't be a 3. If it's a 3, it's a straight line leaving an orphan cell, or it's an elbow leaving orphan cells all over the place. This has to be a 4, and the only way to do a 4 is an L piece here, gives us an elbow right there. This can't be an L piece, so it's got to be an S or an elbow. Don't know. This can't be... What goes here? This piece, if it's a 3, elbow is broke for the puzzle for multiple reasons. 3 is this. So it's a 4. The only way to do it is either an L piece this way or that way. No, this ain't going to work. Because if I have a 3 piece here, yeah, this can't be a 3. This has to be, because a 3 does this, or it does that. This has to be a 4, and that has to be a 4. The only way to bring them together is that way. I like this one. We can't have an L piece here. We could have an elbow, so that's not really helpful yet. How about here? We can't have a 3 like that. If we had an elbow, we have an L. An L. So this can't be a 3 piece. This has to be a 4. And the only way to make this a 4, we can do an S piece that has an elbow touching. S piece, that's an elbow touching. So this is a T piece. Because it can't be an S and it can't be an L. An L piece, I'll show you. L piece does stuff like this. Can't be S, can't be L, can't be I or O. So yeah, it's a T piece. And there's your regular... it there. So that means we can't have a T piece here. So what can we have? If there's a 4, if this piece is made of 4, right? If it's a 4, we have to do, we'd have to do a T piece. So it has to be a 3, and it can't be a straight line, so it's going to be your elbow, which we're making red today, so that we can put our S pieces like that. Now this piece here, if it's a 3, this, first of all, touches that. It has to be an elbow. In fact, it touches both types of 3, so it has to be a 4. The only way to do it is this S piece, like that. So now this can't be 3 like that. This can't be 3, yeah, because it puts an L. This has to be a T piece and an elbow. That's the only thing we got left going for us, just like that. That's a fantastic one. Yeah, it just worked out. I don't know, I like the ability of a puzzle to guide you through it rather than just kind of sit there with his arms folded and say, figure it out, man. You know what I mean? 2s and 3s, mingle shapes. Well, right away, this is not a domino, and this is not a domino. So we've got to have that to start, which means we do have to have this happen. Is that right? No, it isn't, because mingle shape, not mingle. So if this is a domino, this piece is either an elbow or a domino. So we actually have a straightaway piece there and a domino here. And those are the 3 types of piece we can make. We can make a domino, we can make a triomino, we can make an elbow. So here has to be another elbow, because if it's a domino, we have a problem there. So that's that. This piece, actually, this piece here. If it's a domino, we can't bring it that way. We can't bring it that way, can we? No, we can. We can do that. How about this? If this is a domino, if this is a domino here, this has to be a straightaway, and we leave another domino. So we don't have a domino here. This is in fact like that, which does give us a domino here. Forces us to do this. Here could be an elbow or a domino. Feels like that's just right. Is there any way to explain it? It could be wrong, though. Could be wrong. But it isn't wrong. This breaks the puzzle. Just breaks it down here is all. If this is an elbow, we break the puzzle. Right? The reason is, what do we put here? Because this spot here is going to end up being a straightaway. Because if it's not, if it's an elbow, we have an elbow in there. And if it's a domino, we have an elbow here somewhere. Right? So this isn't an elbow. It's got to just be a regular domino. No, this is just it. There we go. That one felt way easier than 5 to me. So I'm just like, yeah, that's it. That's all. All right, last one. 4 to 7. Not everything. I don't have to make this 4 go in there. I can do this as far as I'm aware. Because I don't think these numbers add up to whatever it is. 115. I don't think these numbers add up. Let me add them up. 4. There's no way. 4. This is 9. This is 16. 22. 32. 39. 43. 56, 62, 66, 76. Trombones led the big parade. 95, 101, 108. So most spaces are taken up, but we're going to have 7 spaces not taken, so there's just one group that isn't. I think that's that. Did I do this math right? We're going to do this math again. I'm going to do it by coloring in as I go. 4, 8, 12. Those are all the 4s. All right? So we got 12. We got 22. We got 32. 42. Cool. 48, 54, 60. 66. 73, 80. 87, 94. 101, 108. That is true. Okay. So with 108 made up of my numbers here. These 5s are close enough together, though they could just be part of the same unit. That's the problem. Because if they weren't, then I would know that every number is its own unit, and we would have one single group of 7 remaining. But I don't know that now, because the 5s could be connected. What I do know, though, is this 4 actually does have to go down here. I thought it didn't because there's nothing saying here in the area numbers, but range, this range isn't 4. You have to have that. So this actually does have to just be that shape. Let me make all my 4s red today in this puzzle. This has to be at least 4. It's going to touch the 7. So we're going to make our 7s this color. 4, 5, 6, 7. Anything else? This piece has to touch something. Oh, it doesn't. It's 4. It fits. Do we have another? Hold on. This right here is just 4. Hold on a second. This has to be a 4. So let me look at the remainders here. So instead of... Oh, no, this is not connected to these. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. I thought for a second I had my miscount because of that, but no, this isn't connected to the rest of these. These empty spaces spell 4, 5, 6, 7, in case you didn't notice. So I still have some 4s remaining. I still have all these 5s. 6's gotta do something. 7's gotta... Is there anything I can glean from this? What's that shape? What if I made it its own shape? It's fine. Let's see. This 7. This could be its own unit. I don't know. Range 4 to 7. Not totally sure. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That has to move to the right. So the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7. That is... So the 7 has to move into here. The 5 has to move there. Okay, that's done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this has to move down, which means this has to either be part of the 5 or the 7. This 4 is going to move out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Got to move this here, which means this 4 can't go up, or that we don't have enough space for the 6. The 6 is going to take that. It's going to take all of those spaces. We can't make an orphan cell there, right? Or an orphan cell that way. So 4's got to take both of those and that. This is going to be a unit that doesn't belong to anything here because we can't bring that up. This 4 could take both of those. Can't take both like that, but it could do this. This is the furthest the 5 could go this way, right? Yeah. So the 5 does have to move in, which means it has to take all of these because we can't have a smaller unit in there. Furthest the 6 could go down there is that way. It doesn't help me up here yet. This can't be this can't be part of the 5. I think the 5s do have to be part of the same unit, because otherwise we're going to have some trouble. I hope I've got this right so far. Whatever's here has got to be at least 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. That's the smallest this can be. So the furthest this can go out is that. So the 6 does have to take these 3 spots. Guaranteed. Let's see. Like, I can do this, but I can also do that. I just got to figure out what to do with this unit up here, I guess. I can't move this to the left because it creates an orphan cell, so I guess that's done. This can't, oh, this can't be part of the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because we have an orphan cell no matter what we do. This 6 can't take this spot. This has to be at least a 4. So the 6 has to take these. That's all it can take. That's not done. This makes this another 4. So this 6 is done. I can bring these 7s together. That might actually be the way to do it, but we'll see. Can I get any further than this? If I didn't have these 5s touching each other, these can't touch each other. I'm looking for a way to do it without just saying, I think this is the answer, right? Because this removes a couple 7s from the board, whereas if I don't do this, I have to fill in a full thing and then fill in a full thing here and fit all these in. So there's 7 spaces left here. I got to fill 4 of them with this, right? I have to fill 4 spaces. And then the other 3 I'd fill with this. I'd have to do that, right? I have a couple options for this, actually, right? Hold on a second. Uniqueness rule here. If these 2 are different 7s, if I fill this in here, right, I'm going to have to make this part of the 7. It can't be its own thing. So this is a solution. But this is also a solution. So there's no way. This does have to affect here. I think that's right. I could, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but whatever. This 5. I don't think these 5s can connect. Because if this, yeah, this 7 has to move this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, these 5s? Yeah, if these 5s connect, then where's the final piece of the 5? This leaves orphan cells, that leaves orphan cells, that leaves orphan cells. So they don't connect to each other. I can move this 5 over if this is a different section of 5, but they don't connect to each other, which means this can only move 1 space to the right maximum, so it's got to move this way, and it's got to fill the rest of these in. Which means this 5 has to take every space in here but 1, and the 7's got to take the other. So it's got to take that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's got to do this. And that's the answer to the puzzle. That took a little while, but that felt simple. Did I miss something? Like, it wasn't easy. It wasn't like a 1 or a 2, but I don't know. It felt like I don't know. I got along really well with that one. Great. Good work, everybody. I don't know. I'm just confused. That's what usually ends up happening when you show me the difficulty and you say, hey, this puzzle's really hard. If I don't experience it really hard, I don't feel like, wow, I'm smart. I just go, I'm confused. I thought that was supposed to be hard. It wasn't easy. I'm not going to say I'm a genius. Actually, this puzzle is easy, and if you struggle with it, you're bad. Everyone's going to struggle with different puzzles. Just the game was telling me you're going to struggle here, and I didn't. All right, well, section over. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I'll be back. This is taking forever to get through this game. But I'll be back next time to do something cool, I guess. Hope to see you then. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye.